Hello, today's activity is aimed at ages 7 to 18 plus, and it's a game, and it's what you'll learn from it is all about. You'll get a greater feel for place value and improve your number sense, improve your agility with numbers, and practice your strategy and all those things that are useful in life skills, things that will help you in life in general. So here we are. Now I'm Caroline. My name is Caroline from Bubbly Maths, and I'm here presenting activities from AIMSEC. And while I'm saying that, I'm going to do my best to, here we go, to share these activities. I'm going to set up a watch party so more people can see it and see if today's working. Well, hey. It's working today, yay. And that one's going to go there, and then see if I can play the live that's happening so that I can see comments if they come up. Sometimes it's a bit challenging. Put it there. Okay. Okay. It's not working. Here we go. I got it. Fingers crossed. See if it's working. So what we need for today, I've got some numbers. I've got numbers in a bucket. That's one way of doing it. Just 9 numbers from 1 to 9. Some of the games go from 0 to 9. So go ahead and do 0 to 9. I've got my number spinner, which I'll demonstrate now. Print out the activity that's in the description, and then you can print out the number spinner and stick it on a card. And then I've also got my D10 dice, which if you've got a D10 dice, great. If you don't, you can always throw 2 dice and then add the 2 numbers together. And if they're over 9, you just throw again. You can do it that way as well, although the probabilities possibly do change if you do that, because we are working with probability here, even if it's surreptitiously. So even if you don't know about it, you're going to be thinking, now how likely is it that I get the number I want next time I roll? Okay, now, let me see. Is that working? Is that what I want? Whoopsie. And I think we're looking good. Play that one, and then I'll be able to see comments. Hopefully, it sometimes freezes, so we'll just do the best we can. Right, I'm going to turn on the visualizer so that you can see what I'm doing. And we'll talk through the different games, starting with the one for age 7. So that's what we call upper primary. That's from age 7 to 11. So share screen and visualizer. Anytime you like, Mr. Visualizer. I get it already, and then it doesn't come out. It's plugged in. Oh, there it is. One more time. It's there. See what happens. Fingers crossed. Oh, there it is. Yay. Hooray. We have the visualizer. So I have my different options. I have my D10 dice. I have my bucket full of numbers. And I have my spinner. So I suppose to start off with, I'll show you how the spinner works. All you need is a piece of cardboard, and it is useful to have a piece of cardboard because we're going to pierce it with a pencil. And you can use a pin and spin around the pin. I like to use the pencil because it's simple, although you can stick a pin in and do it that way. And what you do is you open up a paper clip, just one way like that, and then you can stick that in, and then whoopsie, do it nice and loose. Right now, pew, and that gives us a 4. So we're going to do 2 different options, and let's see what we've got. Now, the first game we're going to play, as I say, is for ages. I've just got to pull it up so I can see it. It's over here. The first game we're going to play 10 o'clock, in 55 minutes, we're going to play a game for early years. So that's going to be a lot simpler game. For upper primary, which is ages 7 or 8 to 11, this is the game that we're going to play. Now, early years, lower primary, upper primary, and lower secondary. So we're going to start. A great way to start is, my screen isn't showing me what I need to see. This is very, very odd. It's kind of, it was showing me before and now it's not. Here we go. This is what we're going to start with. We're going to play this game to make sure that the learner that you're working with actually is able to do this. So first thing we're going to do is, I'm going to use this one here, move this away for a moment. We're going to put that one over there. We're going to look at this. 2, 3, 7 times, do we need to use a thicker pen maybe? 2, 3, 7 times 15. You want to see if your learner is comfortable doing that. If they're not, then maybe start with the activity for the lower primary, which we'll do at 10. If they are comfortable doing that, then we'll move on. Then you play the game with us in a minute. So there are several options. There's A, B, C, and D. And so what number will be in the ones column of the answer? That's the question. Okay, so this is the ones column, 1, 10, 100, 1000 columns. Which number will be in the ones column? And here are the possible answers. So you can do that, see what they come up with. And basically, if they're not ready to answer that question, they're not clear about what goes in this spot here, that one, then go back and start the previous exercise and build it up again. So they might get to the point where they do it. And this is the great thing about these activities that AIMSEC provide on the Aiming High website, is that they're family learning guides and they're whole activities. If you start from the very bottom, you can keep coming back to them every month, every 6 months, every year. And as your learner develops more skills, you can keep coming back to them and going to the next step up. So they're what they call low threshold, high ceiling activities. So if they're not ready to answer this question, then go back, join us at 10 o'clock, we'll look for the early years session. And if because the things, they might be ready in some areas for age 8 to 11 activities and not in others. It just depends on the individual. And there's no right and there's no wrong, just go with the flow and go with what's best for your young learner. That's the advantage of home learning and one-to-one work with a grown-up. You don't have to know the answers yourself. The answers are provided in the activity pack. I'm not going to give the answer here. Just look at the diagnostic assessment. It's on page 9 of the activity pack. Right, so assuming your young learner is comfortable with what goes in this units column, the ones column there, we're going to go to do the activity for upper primary and lower secondary. So now we're happy that we can do that. We're going to bring, so this game is a game you can play individually, you can play it as a team, you can play it in different ways. And what we can do, we can use our spinner where, oh dear, what did I do with forever? Good thing I have a whole pot full of these things. I keep finding them and putting them in one place and I don't know where I put them. So straighten that out nicely. And the first way we can do it is this. Get another piece of paper. Oh, it's under here. Right. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a blank. So we're going to make a blank with the grid like this. It's on the front of the activity pack. And that's a multiplication, and that's of course ones, tens, and hundreds. And our answer wants to be our target. Now we've got several rows here, as close to 10,000 as possible. Let me double check that you can see what I think you can see. I'll look at the visualizer instead. Oh, it's all, that's right, it's all wonky, it's not straight at all, is it? Turned it that way. Right, okay. So that number wants to be as close to 10,000 as possible. So it can be done collaboratively. They can work together, throw the dice and decide by discussing, and that's a really great way of doing it, discussing where each number should go in this grid. That's one version of the game. So let's do that. Oh, there's my other spinny. I should just put them in that, back in the paperclip box, and then I know where they are, hopefully. So here we go. We're going to go spin, go spin. So you can have everyone doing it individually. You can have the whole family or a whole classroom doing this individually and doing their own, and then they can compare and see who's got closest to 10,000 and have a discussion about which numbers are closest to 10,000. And again, if you've got people in the classroom of different attainment levels, you can give them a variation of the activity. So you can do a 10 and 2 and 2, or a 2 and 1 here instead of a two-digit number and a three-digit number. So just assign the activity according to the person's attainment level, and then you can just have a different target number and you can decide what that is. Okay, we're going to spin. Whoopsie, that wasn't a good spin because I stopped it. Okay, it's still the same answer. So we have a 9. Now, we want this answer here to be as close to 10,000 as possible. So what does that mean? Does this number here want to be, this is a 9. Do we want this number to be big or small? Do we want this number to be big or small? To think about it as part of the discussion. We can suck it and see what happens. If we're not sure, have a go, see what happens, and then next time you play, you learn from what you're doing. So I'm going to just go saying, well, I want this number to be big. I want this to be as near to 10,000. So I want this to be a big number. So I'm going to put my 9 there. You might have different ideas. Here we go again. 7. Right, again, I want this to be a nice big number. Have you thought about what 70 times 900 is? I don't know, but let's just go with the flow. Flow with the go. Make it, we want a big number, right? So we're going to go for big numbers. Now remember, there's no such thing as a mistake. We make magnificent mistakes and we learn from them. So the first thing you have to do is, what did you learn? And that's great. Whoops. Now, not quite sure what that is. Maybe straighten that out a bit. Do that again. If we're not sure what the number is, just spin again. Oh, that's easy peasy lemon squeezy. Well, let's make that. Well, we know that a 1 is easy to multiply. So let's put that on the bottom there. Let's use that theory. And a 3. Well, there's not too much to choose from. If we put a 3 there, it means 30. If you put a 3 there, it's 1. Let's see, I'll put 3 there and spin again. I wonder what's going to happen. What do you think? What result do you think I'm going to get? Oh, and we have a 0. So Let's do it. So the first one is 1 times 930. And then the next one is 0, 7 3s are 21, 7 9s. Now, is this going to be close to 10,000? 7 9s are 63, with 2 more, 65. So this is the 1 unit, the tens, the hundreds, the thousands, and the 10,000s. Ooh, is this going to be close to 10,000? 0, 3, 10, 6, and 6. Ooh, okay. Is that close to 10,000? I think it's closer to 100,000 than to 10,000. So we can talk about rounding and things, but if we rounded that to the nearest thousand, it'd still be 66,000, which is quite a lot more than 10,000. The idea is it's okay to just have a go. The idea is it's okay to have a go. And now you maybe think, well, what would be the best numbers to have here and here, for example? So you can have that discussion. Another way of playing this game, and just keep playing and keep working at it until you get to the number that you think is closest to 10,000. You can work collaboratively. Again, you can have a bunch of people playing and have them see who can get closest to 10,000. You can talk about rounding, and remember that depending on that person's attainment level, it might be necessary for them to go through this process. Somebody else might never get a number like that. But it's super important for someone who hasn't got that feel for it, and that might be you, it might be a grown-up. I'm quite happy to have a go, experiment, and keep, it's called iterations, keep working on it until I get it. I'm like, oh, I know what's the best number here, and I know what's the best number here, so I can now be very careful about where I put those numbers. Now, this is a little bit of a game of chance. So we've got how likely, if we're just spinning it like that, it's kind of a bit about luck. A way to play this game where it's not so much luck, especially once you can play the game, and then when you have a better idea about what numbers should go where, then we go back to spinning, and we've got the grid. Here we go, boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom. And as I say, if these numbers are too big, then just play with us at 10 o'clock. Okay, boom. And then we got that's 1, 10, 100, 1,000, and 10,000. So we'll bring that and there are your answers. Here's your final answer. Here's our target here of 10,000. That's what we want it to be, as close as possible to. Okay, now, instead of filling them in as we go, which is this is quite a game of chance, it's how likely is it, are we to get a higher or lower number, we can get our numbers to start off with. So we had an 8. We had 4. We have, oh, that's kind of borderline. Let's throw that one again. 4 again. We have, oh, borderline. 7 and 1. That is definitely a 1. It's kind of borderline, but it's definitely on the 1 side. So there we go. Now we've got those 5 numbers. We can really sit and discuss it, or really think about it. You can do it on your own or as a collaborative activity, and decide, now that you know the numbers, you're now thinking mathematically. You're now thinking, where is the best place to put these various different numbers to get a number that's as close as possible to 10,000. And one thing to remember is that number could be greater than 10,000. We don't have to, and we're not looking at the number. I haven't said the number close. closest and less than 10,000. It could be greater than 10,000. Okay, so that's that activity. And didn't see all of that. Look at that. Wait a minute. Let me see what you can see there. Whoopsie, wrong. There we go. That's all of it there. We'll keep the grid there. So you can see the spinner. There. Now you can see it all. Right, while I'm pulling up the next one, you can look at that. Okay, so the way to work out how close you are is to work out the difference between that number and the 10,000. So you're doing lots of things. You're multiplying, you're doing long multiplication, you're doing lots of different things, and yet you're playing a game. So it's like a fun way of doing your maths, but also you're really having to engage your brain. It's not just doing a multiplication. You're actually having to think about where you're putting what and why. So, and you could play it where you have several people doing it, and the first that if you can do it as a competition. So every time one person gets to is the closest, whoever is the closest to 10,000 gets a point. And if there's lots of you, you might want to just see at the end who gets the most points. If there's not so many of you, you could go up to 5 points, and that's the winner of the championship. Or you can just play it collaboratively. Now, I've forgotten what the other thing I was going to say. Okay. Now, just to let you know, in the activity pack, there is some help with doing long multiplication. It's called the grid method, and it's in the activity pack. If you're not quite sure how to do the long multiplication, there's some help there to really give you a different way of doing it than I've done it here. Some people are super happy doing it this way. Some people prefer to do the grid multiplication, and it's in the activity pack, and it really does help you see how the numbers work. Now, the next one. Oh yes, the other thing was, that's what I meant to say, you check each other's answers, because some of you might have made an error. So somebody might think they're not closest to 10,000, but actually they were, because they made an error with their subtraction. And when you do a subtraction, always add them back again. That's the thing, always double check, always reverse what you've done to make sure you've got that your answer is correct. And also you can estimate what you think the answer is going to be, like the one I had before, or even this one, 237 times 15, well, you can think that's 237 times 10. So that's going to be around 2,000. And then you've got half of 10. So it's going to be somewhere in the region of 3,000, because you've got times 10 and then you've got times 5. So 5 times that is going to be about 1,000, and 10 times that is going to be about 2,000, and 2,000 plus 1,000 is 3,000. Approximately, you've got that 37 in there, so it's going to be more than 3,000, because you're going to add those numbers in as well. Okay, now the next thing. There's more activities in there, and you've got the questions. Can you there's other things you can do. You've got the grid multiplication, you've got different ways of doing it. You're looking at especially when you're estimating, rounding it to the nearest 100, to the nearest 10. This is all about nice estimates. And this is what I was talking about. Yeah, so there are nice questions here about it. Now, it's got questions like, we just follow the questions. It talks about multiplying by 50 and how would that impact the number that you've got. And so upper secondary, so we're talking 14, 15 to 18-year-olds, there's a different activity, and it's an actual separate activity, which there's a link for in the activity pack. And in that game, players combine 2 numbers to get as close to the target as possible. You can use addition, subtraction, and multiplication. It doesn't talk about division. And and you're looking at getting as close to a particular number as possible using those numbers. Now, there are numbers to cut out, and the game that you'll be playing, and I don't have an example of it here, but it's all in the activity pack, and it's super useful if you want to. It's a game, so you can play it, it's for fun, and yet you're also practicing your maths and doing it in a way that will help you understand your numbers better. And I know it's summer, or it's summer for some of us. For some of us, it's the middle of the winter, because we've got people from all over the world in these games. But either way, that's when I'm recording this, but you could be looking at it at any time of year. And it's just to really help you. And it can be done as a family game. And so you want to be aiming at a target, and the targets are in the, it's all part of it. You're aiming at a target, you've got lots of number cards, you mix them up and then place them face down. And then when you turn them over, you've got 2 cards, and all the players must write down the two numbers and choose an operation to combine them to get as near to the target as possible. So that's the game. So it's using cards. You put it, you can write this, you don't have to print this out. You can just write them on cards. Let me show you, actually. Let me show you. I'm a small talking head here anyway, so we need to do this. Stop share. Share screen. Hello. And here it is. So those are the cards that you print out, and there is actually, I think it's up here. Here we go. So there's nice big cards. Ooh, went a bit too far. A bit too far. There's lots of numbers there you can print out, and or you can just write them. As you can see, you can just create cards and just write them on the cards, cut them out, and use those. You don't have to be able to print them out at all. And so you're seeing that screen now, and I don't want to get too out of it. So why do the activities? So I'm just going to stop the share. So all of these activities will give you a better number sense, and it gives you practice in estimating, in estimating the results of a calculation, which is super important. Whenever you do a calculation, have an idea in your head. Or when you go shopping, you've got a certain amount of money you've got to spend, and as you put things in, you think, oh, I want to get this extra thing. Do I have the money for it? You can be working it out as you go and estimating approximately how much you've already spent. And if you see these lovely bulk buys, you think, well, actually, is it better value? Do I have enough to get all these, or should I just buy every time I go get 1 or 2 instead of getting 5 or 10? It's a variation of it, but you can estimate how much money you're going to be spending when you go shopping. That's just one real life application. And by you're practicing, instead of doing the things where you get this long list of, right, you've got to practice this, and this, you're doing the work, but you're playing a game, and it really is a lot more fun doing it that way. But especially when you're estimating the results of calculations, you are getting a much better number sense. You're deepening your understanding of numbers and becoming more fluent in doing the number calculations. And that's super important. The more fluent you are, the easier it is. The easier your school journey is, and then later in life, the easier it is for you to use numbers in general. And make sure, I mean, any of you that might become an accountant, it's really important to have an idea of what the final results will be, because you can be out by a factor of 10. So you could be thinking the answer is going to be 1 million and it comes out at 100,000. Unless you've actually thought it beforehand, you might accept the 100,000. It could be wrong. And oh my goodness, you're 900,000 out. And that's really important to make sure that those silly mistakes don't cost you a lot of money when you're a grown up. And if you're doing any little entrepreneurial activities, like if you work out, like you sell lemonade or anything at school, or you help out the school in the fairs and things, that when you get the change, you get the right change. And this can actually cost real money if you don't know if you don't have good number sense. So this is really useful. So it helps you with your place value to get really clear on your ones and your tens and your hundreds and the other way around, ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000, it really helps you with that. So that is the end of the activity. If you like these lives, please do share them. Please tell everybody about the group, Making Maths Fun for Kids of All Ages. And if you like YouTube, then we have 2 YouTube channels. Please subscribe. One is the Maths Toys YouTube channel, where there are videos to help you with each home learning guide that's on the Aiming High website. We're building it up, so there's a few there now, and there'll be more as time goes by. And then on the Bubbly Maths YouTube channel, we have the lives, and these lives, and there's other videos with soap bubbles and balloons and other activities, making maths fun, and also a little bit about mindset and overcoming maths anxiety. So let's have a look, see if anybody joined us on our Facebook Live. Let's close that down. We'll move it away. Let's see. Oh my goodness. I think I've got 2 of them open now. We'll do it a different way. Here we go. Let's have a look, see who managed to join us. Okay. Oh, Ibrahim. Hello, my brother from Tanzania. He took me up Mount Kilimanjaro the first time when I was 50 years old. He's taking me up again for my 60th birthday. Well, he's the guide. He's making sure we go up and come down in one safe piece. So if you are planning to go climb Mount Kilimanjaro, get in touch with me and I'll put you in touch with my brother from another mother, Ibrahim, who's an amazing guide for promoting him now for both mountains, several mountains in Tanzania and Kenya, and safari as well. So he's an amazing guy. And let's see the other one. So that's, we haven't got any comments there. Let's see what we've got on the watch party. It's not working. It's not working. So I can't see. Oh, Barry. Hello, Barry. Barry popped in for just a moment. I know he won't have stayed for the whole thing because he's a very busy man. Barry is the director of AIMSEC. And thanks to Barry and the team, we've got all these lads. Tony writes a lot of them. The team just, it's a wonderful unified team. And they provide professional development for teachers in Africa in mathematics. And there's a lot of fundraising going on so that the teachers that work in disadvantaged and rural communities can run these courses free. They are a hugely dedicated group of teachers. They have big challenges, huge classrooms, next to no resources, which is why we're always looking for ways of doing things that involve cardboard, scrap paper. Look at that, it's just from a parcel. And just making your own resources and yet engaging activities so that the learners can expand their minds and their mathematical ability. So thank you for joining us, Barry. And I'm now going to look for the closing button. And thank you very much. See you all. We'll start another session in 25 minutes for the early years. Thank you.